Hi, so I'm going to do a video on the road to vaping because when we started vaping 3 or 4 months ago, I feel like I spent unnecessary money on vaping because I didn't know what I was doing, so I'm hoping this video will help others who don't know where to start on vaping. I'm not a smoker, I've never smoked, so I didn't know where to begin. My brother here, he's a smoker off and on, and so he's the one who started in vaping. When he came and lived with me, I had a 2-week-old baby who's 4 months old now, and I told him we couldn't have the smoking in my house, and he said that he wanted to vape anyways. And I kind of knew what vaping was. I knew what e-cigs were, definitely. I'd seen e-cigs several years prior, and I kind of knew what vaping was, but not totally. So I went ahead and there's a store across the street, just a regular smoke shop that we sent him to. And smoke shops generally don't have a ton of vaping stuff. They're smoke shops with a little bit of vape stuff. And so I sent him there, and first he picked out a silver one that was just a pin style one.
Just a cheap $20 one to get something to start vaping with.
We didn't know exactly on vaping what we were doing, so we thought that the pin style was actually fine. So he brought home his pin style and a few small juices, just like banana, kiwi, just the regular fruit flavored ones. And my teenager came home from school and said that he knew people who had vaped and that they do this vape box. See, we do Nerd Block and we've done Loot Crate and we've done the monthly boxes, and so he told us, hey, there's a monthly box, but it's for vapors. And so I was going to get him a Nerd Block, and we were actually trying to decide what Nerd Block to get him when I decided you want a vape box more than Nerd Block. So we went with vape box. And I actually went full blown on the vape box and did the $60 box instead, because it comes with equipment. And when we were watching YouTube videos about people unboxing, it would come with equipment. So we thought, okay, well, we need equipment because all we have is this. He has this one pin, so he needs more.
And she wanted to start vaping, so he definitely needs something for her.
Well, I kind of considered vaping at this time, but when he got in his box with the 4 flavors, I only have 3 of them here, but he got in 4 flavors, and I started looking at the flavors and kind of thinking about vaping because it actually looked kind of cool. And during this time, after I'd ordered the vape box, I started YouTubing and Googling vaping and the dangers and the pros and cons of it, and I really couldn't find any cons or dangers to it. And especially I wanted to know the dangers of vaping with a baby. I had a newborn baby who was only around 3 or 4 weeks at this time, and how can I vape while holding my newborn baby? And so I wanted to know. And so we sent him across the street because we need more than one vape, and he went and got this vape. This is an Eagle brand pin style mini tank and battery. It's actually a very nice looking blue. For pin style, this is kind of very elegant kind of pin style. And so now we had 2 vapes, and we got in these oils, and we didn't understand anything about PG versus VG. We didn't know that VG was thicker than PG. And so when we filled out the questionnaire on VapeBox, we said, give us VG, because everybody's talking how bad propylene glycol was, and so don't do it. And so we said, okay, no, give us VG, which was it's just, I don't know the exact difference between PG and VG, but mostly is thickness.
Yeah, it's basically VG is thicker than PG, but PG is more flavorful. So if you're looking for something more flavorful, then the PG is better in that area. But there is also people that are allergic to the PG, so they can have just the VG only.
Yeah, and so we started vaping. Well, they also gave us this tank. This is a $45 tank. It's a Vengeance tank that came in our vape box. So that $60 box made it worth it because we had a $45 tank. We thought that was cool. But you stick this $45 tank on this $20 battery, it's not even, you can tell that it's no doubt why this battery didn't power this huge of a tank. So when you put this on this battery, it'll actually blink and it'll tell you, it's telling you, hey, I don't recognize this
atomizer, because it's a sub-ohm atomizer, and that battery cannot handle anything sub-ohm.
So yeah, so actually these batteries are kind of smart. They won't vape or burn up or blow up on anything that it can't run. It won't run anything it can't run. So you're not gonna have to be in fear of, if your battery's working it's because it can. But so anyways, so here we are with 2 pins and this huge tank and VG liquids, and we don't know what to do. So I told them, hey, let's call it Vapebox customer service. They gave us this. They must know what to do. So I called it Vapebox customer service. They're great customer service. He called me back. We talked for a little bit about our needs and everything, and what I told him, we love what you got us, what you guys gave us, but we didn't know that VG was thicker. We can't smoke it in our pins. We're having a problem here. What do we do about this tank? Because I had sent him to several vape shops around Salt Lake. I had pulled up like 3 different ones, and nobody could match something for this tank at this time. And so I was like, all right, Vapebox, you sent us this tank and these liquids, but we cannot vape them. And so we actually had these for a couple weeks before we got to actually vape them. But they called me the next day, and he talked to me about a battery, sold me a mod for $30 and 2 batteries. So, Vapebox, they have great customer service, and they really do everything to help you out. Because what they sent us next was this mod, very big, heavy mod, and 2 batteries. The 2 batteries cost us $6, and this is a $30 mod. This goes up to 50 watts.
Yeah.
50 watt mod.
All the way from 1 to 50.
And it did like he promised. It fit the $45 tank. It fit the Vengeance tank, and it vaped it just fine, and it was great. So we had this big, heavy one now that we're vaping our thick oils off of, but it's the only one that could do the thick one. So we had our 4 thick oils on this side of our cabinet with the thinner oils on this side. And so if you weren't using this one, which he was the main user of this one, basically he was the only one who could vape the stuff from Vapebox, and I was vaping whatever was left. And so we went to different stores. The smoke shops, they sell stuff like vapor blends. These are kind of, they're good starting out to try, but I found them kind of, they have a little bit of flavor, but a little kind of duller. They're not,
they just don't
they're not hugely flavorful.
And don't have the variety of vape shops.
Yeah, they don't. So I looked up vape shops, and we found this great vape shop called iVape. They do a little bit of in-house vapes. They do in-house.
Very flavorful.
And these are very flavorful. This one's Code Red, and this one's Morning Joe. I really like their Jamaican rum and coke. That one was great. The vape shop also, this one you have to be 19 or older to get in, because at the bar they vape. So anybody in Salt Lake City area, iVape is a great place. You get to vape it before you try it. They vape 3 milligrams of nicotine. I don't vape any nicotine, so when I do go to the bar, that's the only time I get nicotine, but it's 3 milligrams. It's so little you don't even notice, actually. So I don't even know why people vape 3 milligrams, because I can't even really tell. But they also not only they do other juices that are not in-house. This one is traditional juice. We highly recommend this one from, you can either go to traditionaljuice.com and buy it, or you can go to iVape if you're local. And this one's called Indian Giver. Interesting name, but it is the best vanilla you've ever vaped. This one was very strong in flavor.
Yeah.
Very good. And so we were very thrilled with iVape. We actually visited them 5 times in 1 week, sometimes 3 times in a day. We started frequenting iVape for 2-3 weeks or something like that. And they were also close to our doctors. It was a mile around the corner from my doctors. And so I started going to iVape. And I wanted, as a new person vaping, I wanted something pretty. And I walked into iVape, and the first thing I saw when I walked into iVape was this battery. Very beautiful battery. And I thought, wow, okay, now we're talking. Because the smoke shop had the gray one, the blue one, very plain ones, nothing girly, and they sell the tanks separately. So I bought this for about 18 bucks and this for $7.
I'm not exactly sure what it was.
Then I decided, hey, if I'm gonna vape, I like change flavors more often than he does. He vapes faster than me too, so his tanks, he goes through, how many tanks a day do you go through?
I don't know, 2.
So I got me separate tanks. So I started being like, okay, I'm gonna vape different tanks, and so got me a pink tank, a purple tank. I had my silver tank, and I thought I was good to go. But what I didn't realize is, once again, these only vape around 25, 26 watts.
We're guessing.
We're guessing. That's a guess due to the style of atomizers they use. Maybe 20 watts. So these, I realized that you're not going to get the flavor without the stronger battery. We watched more YouTube videos. So I went back in to iVape and found their sub-VOD kit for $40. This is Kangertek's. Starting out, if these ones run...
We got these ones for 40. It depends on where you go, really. I've seen thinner ones than these that look like they're almost half as thick, and then we found thicker ones that are about as thick as that tank that we got from Vape Box.
So I asked them at iVape, I said, will this vape any level of VG? 20/80, 50/50, 70/30. I needed to know, would this do these? Because right now, all we had was a few small oils and the ones from Vape Box. We hadn't gone big into vaping yet. We're still on our road to vaping. And they said yes. So, and I was kind of turned off by this big, all of us were actually kind of turned off by how big and heavy this was. And it's like, do you really want to carry this around and vape this,
I kind of enjoyed it from the beginning, and I do like it a little bit more now than what I used to.
Yeah, but we're getting to that point why he likes it more. So I went ahead and bought these. And I meant to use this occasionally, but continue my cute little vaping over here with my little pink matching tank and everything. However, these, there's a difference, and he'll show you there's a difference in the air holes and why these, after I started vaping on this one for a while, and then I went back to this one, I kept telling him, Timmy, this is stuck, I can't. I was sticking toothpicks in it, Q-tips down it, I was doing whatever I could, changing atomizers, I was doing whatever I could to clear this tank so that I can vape. And I kept returning back to this one going, alright, this one is vaping fine, why?
And it's because I highly doubt that you'd be able to see it, but there's little pinholes. See if I can get a little closer, and I don't know if you could really see, but there's just 3 little tiny pinholes for the airflow, while these actually have a lot bigger air hole right there where you can actually adjust how much air you'd like. So then I was happy with this. I thought, oh great, so this was very nice. I really like this. Sit there and just vape this. It holds in your hand like giant cigarette, or giant pen. It felt light, it felt good. Yeah, it felt like a giant cigar. So if you like the cigar feel, this was a good, it wasn't bad to hold and sit there, and it wasn't heavy compared to this. Then we started looking more into, I was at iVape with Timmy, and I was joking and looking in this section of stuff, and I'm like, what, do you build your own? And it actually turned out it wasn't a joke. You do build your own tanks. They're called RDAs and RTAs. And so I kept asking Timmy, well, what's an RDA, what's an RTA? So an RDA, the only difference between an RDA and an RTA is one's a tank and one's just caught in it's just drip. It's a rebuildable drip atomizer.
So we were watching YouTube, and Timmy was showing me, they used to have drip tips back in the day when vaping first started. You drip it in, you puff a couple, it's gone, you drip it more in, and he said, hey, I wanted new flavors, so I was on Google and I looked up sangria. I love the taste of sangria. It's an acquired taste, it's a good taste, but I love it. And so I said, okay, I want to see if somebody really did make sangria, because it is a popular flavor out there. And I did. And I found Good Life Vape. And so we had 10 flavors due to come in. And I said, we had 10 flavors due to come in. And when you vape in a tank, battery level low, exchange battery.